I'm like in my own head going like, don't be like just like tighten up.
No, who you, Khabib? You don't tap?
Well, I didn't think we were in a match. I didn't think this was like a situation where I might have to tap, bro.
Oh, we're good, right? Oh, sorry. We are live. The ChadGPT Podcast. We are here at the Hyperbolic Time Chamber.
We're live at the Hyperbolic Time Chamber.
We're live. Not really live, but, you know, we're here. Live. We're live. And I am your host, Big Nick, and I'm here with my little friend.
You're not talking to me, buddy.
Introduce yourself, little friend.
The name is Nick Callas. I go by GigaChad. There was a lot of names for me.
Nick Cialis.
Nick's a sensitive man. All right, we got to jump right into this because the coolest thing of all time happened to us this week.
Yeah, we actually got followed by the definition of a GigaChad.
The absolute GigaChad.
Probably the most GigaChad person that's ever lived.
I think so. I think unanimously this person is both in body, spirit, and lifestyle the most. He's like almost comically Chad. You're like, you think of Chad, and he's
100%. 100%. He's actually been the Chad since like what, the 80s?
To the point where like, I think if you like look up what the definition, the colloquial usage of the term Chad is, like you will see an image of him.
He's actually more Chad than
than me.
I don't know about that, but like, you ever seen like the stereotype GigaChad?
Yes.
He's actually more Chad. So it's Mike O'Hearn.
Mike O'Hearn
shared our video, then followed us on Insta. That was the biggest. I'm set for like a year,
dude. I had the same reaction.
Like if nothing else happens,
I know
I'm good.
Because so the fact this dude knows who we are, and crazy. Was like, y'all are cool.
Yeah,
I actually felt my testosterone rise.
Yeah, and he messaged me and said, "You keep going, superstar."
Keep going, superstar.
Which is, I didn't know how to. I was like, I just came.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when I saw that, like he, because I followed him.
Do you know what it was to not say I love you?
You should have. You should have just dumped.
He just unfollows me.
He blocks your account.
Yeah, you know he's 60 years old.
Well, dude, so I have obviously always known who he is, and then like in the past couple of years through Instagram and stuff, seen more and more and more. And then when I mentioned him in that video, and just as like a reference, and then when he reshared it, I was like, oh, he's like a real guy. Like he's not just like a mythic, like he's going to get eggs today. Right? And then when he followed me, I looked at it and I was like, oh, he knows who I am. In his head, I'm probably like some silly comedian guy. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh my God.
I also was so mad because he followed you first and he didn't follow me yet. And I was like, I'd just be like, no, it's cool, dude. No, I'm so hyped about it.
Yeah. No, I could feel it. And I was like, I almost didn't want to tell you.
I was like, I'm so proud of you.
Well, it was almost as if like the feeling of like
you told me and my fists were clenched. I'm like, I'm so happy.
You know what it was like? It was like there's that story about Mel Gibson who drove his buddy to the audition for Mad Max, and then they saw him walk out of the car and they were like, you're him. And his buddy was like, the fuck, dude.
I didn't know that happened.
It might be like kind of kayfabed a little bit, but yeah. So dude, he messaged me, and I didn't even say I didn't say what's up first. He messaged me and he goes, dude, when I die, you're going to have to take my place.
Oh, he thought you were me.
He said, you're Nick Simmons, right? And I go, no.
You're the muscular one, right?
He looked at me and he goes, you must be Nick Simmons. You're so strong for your size.
Oh, no, he is getting old.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
No, he's literally the man. He loves us. He's a proud sponsor of this podcast.
One thing about, like, we do Natty or Nots all the time.
Yeah.
And people do Natty or Nots on Mike O'Hearn all the time. You know what they should do? They should not, because guess what? He's been working out for 45 years. Right. So whether or not he's natty or not, who cares? If you could look like that, if my grandfather, who's not alive, but if he was alive and looked like Mike O'Hearn, I would be so pumped. I wouldn't care. Natty, who gives a shit?
I think in general, the only people I like doing natty or nots out of curiosity, and because I like learning from you and from other people, like more about the science of how certain things are achieved. But in terms of like the judgment that people put on, like, oh, well, he's not natty. Like, nobody who is proud of their self and workouts cares, dude.
Yeah, I would actually say that anybody who, like, because you always see, like, people comment steroids on, like, things, and, like, I would be willing to fund your cycle, and I will guarantee there is a 0% chance you look like Michael O'Hearn in your 20s. Never mind 60.
Forget look like... Dude, Michael O'Hearn, there's one guy who looks like that.
It's Michael O'Hearn.
There's nobody else that looks like that.
He's literally the romance novel cover guy.
Yeah, he's like the Fabio looks like what he is.
Yeah. So he's our chat of the week.
Chat of the week.
We really glazed him, it was worth it.
And I regret nothing.
Imagine he saw this and just unfollowed us.
Yeah,
He's like, wow, that is gay.
Hey guys, ew. Double block. You brought this up. We talked about it off air. Girls thinking you're hitting on them.
Oh, so I'll start with this. Your boy's been single since what? August of 2024. Yeah. Took a little while for Stella to get her groove back, but he got her groove back.
Yeah.
And like I actually prefer talking to girls on the street than on dating apps. Number one,
ew, creep.
Number one, because I'm 5'8", so I could use my charisma in person.
Right.
Because as soon as a girl asks me my height on a dating app, this is how they respond. That's the sound of them not responding.
Yeah. Well, because the other problem too is that like if they're looking through your photos, that's actual size.
Yeah. Also, I have the head of a person who's way taller. So when you match me, you're like, oh, he's got to be like 6 feet tall. Because I have a fucking noggin.
You got a fucking...
I have weatherman head. You know? Like it was either bodybuilder or weatherman.
You got like office water jug.
If I didn't work out, I would look like a Lego person. That being said, I'm just you're like me, where you're an outgoing person.
Yep.
It's so easy to just talk. We live in New York City, so it's easy to just walk up and talk to a girl.
Yeah.
I told you about that one in the diner.
Mm-hmm.
That one was so sick. Yeah. So I was rizzing a girl up, as the young kids would say, and I was doing pretty good. And then the kid behind the counter said, "Hey, aren't you a famous comedian?" And I am not famous, but boy, did I do the move like a famous person would. I was like, I wouldn't say famous, you know? And she's like, "Oh, you're a comedian?" And I was like, yeah, you know, like I do comedy. And she's like, "Oh," she's like, "I like doing," she's like, "I love the comedy." So I'm like, I perform every once in a while, you know? Yeah. And that kid, I've been giving that kid a nice tip every time I go in that diner. Even if I get a bagel, it's a $5 tip.
Kid's a legend.
That being said, it's always obvious when you are hitting on a girl. The only thing I don't like is when you're not hitting on a girl and they think that you're hitting on them.
Yes.
Which happened to me. So, because I hate when a girl thinks you're hitting on them and you're not. So this is what happened. I was in the Bronx, Pelham Bay Park, and I'm walking through the park, and this girl is riding by me on a bike, and she's going pretty quick actually. She was going quick, and then she was about to go up a curb. And usually when you go up a curb, you lift the front tire to go up the curb.
Good strategy.
She didn't do that. So she went face first, hits the curb, flies over the handlebars, lands face first in the grass. So I run up to her and I go, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she goes, "I have a boyfriend." And I'm like, well, tell him to teach you how to ride a fucking bicycle.
I have a boyfriend.
Like, tell him to teach you how to ride a fucking bicycle. Yeah. Like, that, it bothered me so much because I'm like, because what do you do in that situation? Be like, "I wasn't hitting on you, you fucking mangled bitch."
You're like, "Cool, so 911 then?"
I'm like, "You're bleeding," and this is where...
Honestly, though, dude, if that's my girlfriend... Atta girl. That's what I want. That's the chick I want, dude.
I don't care if you're bleeding from your skull. No.
Dude, I'll say this. So, everyone should know if they don't already, I am in a wonderful relationship, and I love my girlfriend the most. Back in the old single dice, I'm on the train platform. I'm waiting for the train, and there's this girl sitting waiting for the train, and she's scrolling Instagram on her phone, and she doesn't know that her flashlight is on, and so... I'm no hero, but I walk up and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she looks up at me and she goes, "Ew, not interested." And I was like, "Okay, your flashlight is on." And then she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's like so embarrassing. I'm so sorry." And this is a clear example of women assuming a guy is hitting on them.
What was that accent? Was she a whore from Minnesota?
She was a Minnesotan whore. She was a Minnesotan whore. She was like, "Can I get a pop?" And I'm watching. So and I'll say, dude, like she thought I was hitting on her, and I thought she was gonna fuck me if I told her about the flashlight. I thought it was a clear transaction. But yeah, no, it was actually embarrassing for both of us because I had to go like, I was just like trying to, okay, I guess I won't like try to be friendly to a stranger or help out or whatever. And then she had a moment of going like, oh, I'm like I could tell that wasn't her personality. It felt like something had recently happened. Like maybe a guy a minute ago hit on her or she was in a fight with somebody. Like I could tell it was and then she felt so bad. And then it made me feel bad because I wanted to be like, no, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
I just wasn't that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least that girl had like but like the girl that this girl got CTE and still didn't feel it. I'm like, can I tell you a funny train story actually?
Yes.
It was more of like a waiting for the train story. Sometimes you're waiting for the train, you're puffing on it. Because when I used to vape, I used to smoke everywhere. Yeah. And no matter what time of day, I was hitting it. Dude, no matter where I was.
Ask my girl. She's constantly hitting me, being like, be discreet.
Yeah. So I was hitting it, and I take like a huge puff, and I blow it out. And you ever watch the smoke going? And it looked like... It was like the shape of Slimer from Ghostbusters, and I'm watching it and I'm seeing it heading towards someone, and it hits me who the person is.
Get the fuck out!
It's Max from the TV show Catfish. Yeah, you know the gray-haired one?
Not really, but
he's the one of the main guys.
I know
Catfish.
like the Neve guy, and there's other guy.
The other guy.
He's the other guy. Okay.
So I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Max, and then I'm like, oh my god, my vape's about to hit him, and I see it hit him, and he goes. And I put it back in my pocket so fast, I don't want him to realize me. And I'm watching him looking around, like trying to figure out who did it. And he couldn't figure it out. And there was something in my head that was like, I felt so accomplished. I'm like, this guy could find a fucking fake profile from halfway across the world, but he couldn't figure out who just blew smoke in his face.
That's so funny, dude. That's so funny.
And I'm just sitting there on the train. You could tell he's bothered by it because like we got on the same subway car, and he's just sitting there stewing, and I'm like, fucking gotcha, idiot.
Dude,
Even though I love him. I love Max. But,
imagine you like.
But the fact that of all the people that ever got Max, all the catfishes, I'm like, I fucking blew smoke in your face and you had no idea. Him. Gotcha.
You successfully smoke fished him. Dude, in college, I'm in an elevator with this kid that at the time, he was like one of those kids, you get to college and then you kind of just, by way of like, you know, whoever's around you in that first week sort of becomes your best friend for like 3 months until you realize they suck and you find your real friends.
I went to community college.
Yeah, I commuted to college, so it's kind of the same.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're just like with whoever.
Mine was the second best community college in the nation. But go on.
Oh, well, that's
I found out that's what every community college says because no one could prove that they're not second. You know you're not first.
It's the equivalent of like when a deli in the city says like best coffee.
I went to the best coffee of colleges. Go on.
I went to an actually good college, and while I'm there, so I'm in the elevator with my buddy at the time, who was he was like hilarious, but it was not by choice. Like he just was always doing weird stuff. So we're in the elevator. And the elevator doors close. It's just us, and he rips the wildest fart of all time.
I love that.
We're on the first floor. Elevator stops at the second floor. Doors open. So, dude, immediately you can feel the fart just like wanting to rush out of the elevator, and it's vile. It's gross. And so the doors open, dude, and this cute girl walks in, and dude, his instinct. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen a person decide to do. He started going like this. Like he tried to smell all the fart.
He did a rail of fart.
Dude, he tried to absorb the fart on behalf of her. And she didn't know like what he was doing, but she walked in and smelled it, so she just goes,
oh.
And then he's going, like trying to sniff it all in, and I'm just watching all of this going like, what is happening?
Dude, a perfectly timed fart is also so funny. I won't say the comic's name, but it's a comic me and you are both very good friends with. To this day, will not agree that it was the fart's fault. But one day he was on stage, and we were doing late night at New York Comedy Club, and right as he's about to tell the punchline, someone in the front row had the perfectly timed fart right before he said the punchline. He's the only person in the room that didn't notice, and that fart murdered. The room fucking exploded, and he still thinks that was his laugh that he got. Like he had like confidence, like the level of confidence that he had that joke just killed, but it was 100% fart that just destroyed the room. And it made me realize, I'm like, there's nothing I'll ever say on stage that'll ever be as good as a perfectly timed fart.
And you know what's crazy is that a perfect joke, 100% success rate, whatever. An imperfect joke, that floor could be as low as negative 20%. An imperfectly timed fart, 99% fart. Like
there's no such thing as improperly put.
That's the thing. A poorly timed fart is
like name a time
funnier.
where a fart would not be funny.
I genuinely
like in my head I went funeral and I went that'd be hilarious.
Hysterical.
That'd be
Tries
funny.
to fart in church as much as possible. Hysterical. Farting in a situation where people can't even correct you for doing it is hilarious.
Imagine a wedding. Does anybody have anything to say that why these two shouldn't be married?
Dude. And also any fart, like any sound of fart, like it could be the, or it could also be
the sad one.
That's crazy. The sad one.
The one that sounds like Blue from Blue's Clues. There's no time where it would be. Even if it was my funeral, I would fucking.
That's so funny.
In heaven, just go.
There would be times where you don't think it's funny, but objectively, it's funny.
It's funny.
Like, for example, if you were having sex and you were about to orgasm and instead you farted, I mean, you're both going to probably find that funny, but I think any girl worth her weight in sense of humor is dying laughing at that. It's so disgusting, dude.
You just reminded me of something that I totally blocked out of my memory.
Oh, my God. Let's go. You guys are getting an exclusive.
So I was, when you're getting, like, you ever been, like, sitting and getting a blowjob, like, at the end of the bed, and I'm just have, like, my arms posted up, and I'm just getting blown. And I don't know why I thought I could hold it, but, like, you ever go to pinch a fart, and as she's going down, I just go. I tried to like sneak it. I don't know why I even thought I could sneak it out, but it came out hard, and I saw her hair move.
No! Are you doing this on stage?
No. And she just go. Like I thought maybe she wouldn't notice, and she just stopped and went, "Did you just fart?" And
Christ.
We both fucking died laughing. Like there was no sexually coming back from that, but it was so funny for both of us that it was just. We both like weren't bothered by it.
That's amazing. The fact that she had a sense of humor about it in that moment is like, that's like, you can marry her.
Yeah.
And then someone goes, how'd you guys meet? You go, well, I'll tell you when I fell in love. Dude, one thing I wanted to bring up today, I hate Superman.
Why?
I hate Superman because Superman
rules.
Superman is the most selfish person of all time.
That's wrong.
Here's why. Superman has enough power, strength, speed, ability to essentially fix everything, save the world 10 times over, 10 million times a day, right? Superman can't do anything. You're one of the people on TikTok all the time saying like, why Superman can defeat Goku in 2 seconds, blah, blah, blah. If that's true, let's say that that's true, the fact that Superman has a day job makes him such an asshole.
Why?
Because he could be saving starving children. He could be stopping wars. And instead, he's like, these are the 10 best sushi places in Metropolis. Like, he's writing articles.
But what's he going to do? Tell his landlord, oh, sorry, I saved the world. I can't pay rent this month.
Full-time Superman.
How are you paying rent?
He has an ice house.
How are you paying rent?
He doesn't need to pay rent. That's the whole thing.
Was he going to be homeless? That's embarrassing.
He has the ice
Imagine
castle.
being able to save the world and homeless. Only handcuff.
I'm Superman. Give me $100,000 a year, and I'll Superman everything, and we'll be good.
But he's not allowed to tell anybody who he is.
He is Superman.
But no one knows about Clark.
He can say I'm Clark. He doesn't need to do any of the dual identity thing. That's a choice.
Wait, why does he do Clark?
That's what I'm saying. Because he likes it. He likes being able to go like from 9 to 5. I write my little articles, and then I get dinner with Lois. Dude, 12 hours a day. He's not saving shit.
You know what my favorite thing about the Lois and Clark thing is to me? Did you ever see when she found out that he was Superman?
Like in what?
With the gun in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see it? So when she suspects that Clark is actually Superman, so she pulls a gun on him.
Right.
and basically shoots him just to prove that he's Superman. What if she was wrong? She just murdered some guy, and she goes, "Whoops, whoopsie daisies." Also, this is how cool Superman is, though. He lets people feel good about themselves. He could have fucking destroyed Batman, and he lets him feel like he's
refused to have that argument. Let me just go back to this for one.
Are you one of those? Give him prep time.
It doesn't.
I hate that argument.
I hate when people go like with or without prep time. Batman is prep time. Real quick. So every single time
Batman sucks.
Every single time that Superman is at the Daily Planet working, a child is perishing. A war is waging. Something in the world awful is happening, and every single time that like an old woman is robbed for her groceries, Clark Kent is in the office wearing glasses he doesn't need, going like 8 times Timothy Chalamet was savage.
Like, I don't think he would work for BuzzFeed.
Dude, he does. If Superman was real, he'd be at BuzzFeed being like 25 moments where Dochi was eating or whatever.
Speaking of Superman, do you ever watch videos of girls reacting to Henry Cavill?
No.
It makes you realize how not good looking you are, because there's highlight reels of girls who are just, like the hottest girls ever, like Ana de Armas, and like they're just like fucking flustered staring
like
at him, and you realize you're like, oh, I am never gonna get that. That's crazy.
I've never had that reaction. I don't feel that way about myself, but I can sort of understand.
I feel that way about you. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I always look at you and I'm like, wow, it could be worse.
You look like you have a tattoo of the Italian flag wrapped around New Jersey.
It's funny you say that.
I actually believe you. I've seen your tattoo 40 times. I'm like, oh, wait.
You look like Drake Bell if he never made it as a
You look like... Hold
on, let me pause you right there. How much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh?
Yeah.
I weigh 195.
So you are... not.
I'm lying.
What's your weight?
My weight? Like 176.
So the average... I don't know if we could pull it up. The average weight of a woman in America, 180. So I feel like it's just wrong.
Maybe the women you hook up with.
No, that's the average weight in the United States.
That's the average weight of someone who walks into your apartment after 1 a.m.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I fuck midgets. I would just feel wrong. Just it's rude to make fun of a lady.
Yeah, well, anyways.
I'm sorry, what was that victim weight?
You look like you taste tomato sauce with your pinky and then go, need salt.
I do. I do.
You look like off only works if you also do it. Because then it just feels like I'm being mean. And I wrote all these before, so it feels
I didn't write any, and I'm just like, let him just fucking...
Oh, you did. All right, fine. I take it back.
I told you, I don't make fun of women.
You know what, dude? You got so scared right there, dude.
You know, can we... On that. On that.
I know where this is going.
No, you don't know where this is going. You do not. I hate when people throw a fake punch and someone flinches and they go, fucking pussy. Oh, I'm sorry that I have fucking, that I will defend myself if you throw a punch at me. You know it's not tough? Getting knocked the fuck out.
Right. Also, dude, I was about to dodge it.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean reflexes?
Yeah. Would I be a pussy if you threw a punch and I went like, and countered it? No, that would be sick.
That's the definition of tough.
Right.
Yeah. What's not tough is being fucking knocked the fuck out and you're like, well, at least I didn't fucking flinch.
Yeah, imagine like you threw a punch, I didn't flinch, you knocked me out, and then I was on the ground like, yeah. Also, yeah, take that, bitch.
Like, that dude's fucking tough.
That guy's a rock star.
Oh, I choked you out the other day.
I wouldn't phrase it like that.
I did. I called you panicked later on to make sure you were alive.
You're a good friend, dude.
I called you. I'm like, hey, man, you good?
Well, so here's what happened. So you were trying to explain to me what a Darcy choke is, because we were talking about Khabib.
Well, I showed you the Darce, and then I showed you a rear naked choke. And I'm just so strong that so what happened was I put him in the rear naked, and like I was showing him. This is the funny part. I was trying to show you where to put the hand behind that, because if you put your hand like this, what happens is it's easy to pull the hand. So if you put a fist and backwards, it's very hard to do that. And I was trying to show you that, and I thought you would tap if you were going out. And then all of a sudden I felt you going down. You started going down, and then you started shaking, and I went, Uh-oh.
Well, so that's actually a pretty fair account. So here's what was happening.
But
for me.
I was explaining it to you. Did you hear me explain things while you were going?
Dude, all right, so you're like, here, like, let me show you whatever, and then you kind of like pantomime it behind me, but also
But I was also showing you, like, you don't need. The whole point was me showing you how you don't have to put. If you do a rear naked choke right, you don't have to put any strength into it. Like that, I was like, okay, I'm only gonna put. I literally said I'm gonna put like 2% of a squeeze on it. You might have been out cold when I said that, but
hang on. So again, 4 or 5 feet taller than you, so I have to. I'm like this, so you can show me, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then you're starting to do it, and then like you're like, and so if you were to even just like flex, like you're not closing it, you're just like, even if you were to like flex, and then I'm like, oh wow, dude, like I can feel that, and so then I'm like in my own head going like, don't be like a pussy, like just like tighten up.
No, tap,
like,
you idiot.
I didn't even know. I didn't
tap
know.
your fucking
I didn't know this was like a I should tap.
Who you,
type
Khabib?
thing.
You don't tap?
Well, I didn't think we were in a match. I didn't think this was like a situation where I might have to tap, bro. Like I thought this was like charades. You know what I mean?
Do you think this is not? You were actually able to breathe this whole time?
No, I didn't think you were gonna do it.
I didn't. That was the crazy part.
I would have fucking died if you didn't. So, dude, wait. So you show me, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it feels like or whatever. And then I think that's going to last, like, I don't know, a couple seconds. And then you're going to go like, yeah, that's how you do it. But instead, it didn't. And so I should have tapped. But instead, I was like, oh, like, this will be over in a second. And like, So all of a sudden, dude, I'm like kind of almost going to the ground, and I could feel
you
my
were on the
hands
ground.
shaking. No, I didn't. Like, I never like butt to the ground. I like kind of am like,
Because I was holding
right?
you.
Well, dude, so I'm going like this, and in my head, I'm like, oh, my blood sugar's low. Because you know what's crazy is like I'm diabetic. When you have a really low blood
Is that what
sugar,
it feels like?
It feels exactly
Really?
like that. It didn't even register in me that the reason I was feeling the way I was because you were
Choking you?
It literally felt
That's how you know there's no
exactly-
blood going to your brain?
Bro, get this. So maybe twice, definitely once, but maybe twice in my life have I had a like bad emergency low blood sugar, and I've been diabetic for 27 years or something like that.
Yeah. Is that what it feels like when you have like a bad attack?
Dude, one time I needed a glucagon, right? Just sugar injection. And the way it happened is that like I was starting to feel low, hands start to shake a little bit. I'm pouring a glass of orange juice, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up on the carpet. Like 20 minutes later, my mom and my brother had to like run in, glucagon me, all that, and it's like you black out. So there's maybe a second where you feel it's happening right before, and then dunzo. So it felt so much like that because I could feel my hands shaking, and I was like, it was almost like
tunnel vision?
Vignette tunnel vision, like closing in and whatever. And it was so quick. Like this whole thing I'm describing lasted like maybe 45 seconds. Maybe. That's probably pushing it. But it was just such a clear difference from like I'm standing here, I'm chilling, to all of a sudden I'm trying to stand up, and in my head was going like, your blood sugar's low, your blood sugar's low. So what in my head was going, Nick's gonna freak out if he thinks he needs to like call an EMT for a diabetic,
I would have freaked out if I
emergency.
murdered you.
Well, I would watch you rot from heaven. But yeah,
Crazy
so
you think you're going.
I'm kind of trying to like maneuver to the couch so that I can like check my blood sugar, eat a power bar, whatever, and like not let you freak out. And then a minute in, I go, oh no, I'm being choked.
That's crazy. You think it was a minute. It was like literally seconds.
I know, dude. It was nuts. It was nuts. And
What?
then, so you were worried about me, and the immediate feeling in my body was like, I have to learn this. Because I said to you,
That's what I was going to say. So 2 funny parts about this is right before that, my apartment flooded because the sink went out. So I had people come into my apartment to go check it out.
Yeah.
So at first, as you're going down, I'm like, oh no, I just murdered him. And there's people coming to the apartment. And then I'm like, hey dude, because I knew they were coming they came within like 30 seconds of that. Like you came in and you're like fucking walking around my apartment all fucking retarded, and they're like, where's the weekend? You're like,
Imagine
the second
weekend at Bernie's, maybe. It's like, this is my buddy Nick. He's a kid.
it's
would not
over
be
there.
That different
I'm
from
like
my
using your
act.
hand to point. But the best part was, as you came up, you went, I gotta learn that shit.
Dude, well, because I was like, oh, you didn't do anything and I died, so you can just walk around with that ability. Because, bro, I'm not even gonna lie, it didn't it didn't scare me. The feeling was scary. The feeling I had afterwards was a weird kind of version of confidence, because I was like, it's almost like when I was young in comedy and I would see somebody kill and it excited me, because I'm like, oh, I can learn that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, in my mind, I was like, oh, if I know how to do that and I can get somebody's back, like, I will just be chilling. Like,
yeah. But you also don't have that false confidence, because, like, there are, like, situations where, like, you could be a great fighter and someone could just fucking have a weapon and then
well, that's
fucked.
the thing. But that's
why, like,
I wanted
most
to
people
learn
who are
it.
trained fighters try to avoid fights.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And also, like, you gotta be tough enough and not at all tough to know that. Because, dude, I remember last time I got into a fight, I'll try to make this brief, but, like, since we're talking about it, last time I got into a fight, I was in college, and I got jumped leaving a bar, and I was with, like, one of my best friends and then, like, 4 buddies that would come out with us, and a dude who was at the bar that we were at about 15 minutes earlier got kicked out for a fight. Hammer drunk, dude. And this is a college bar, but it's like downtown in the city, so it'd be like some college kids and then just like, you know, people from wherever. So we're walking out, and this was like, you know, I haven't had a drink in like 10 years, but, you know, back in college, I was like probably drinking, might have been a little drunk, jumping on the street, dancing, rapping, like just a commotion, right? And so this dude, who I didn't recognize till later, was the guy that got kicked out of the bar, thinks I'm talking to him, like thinks I'm like chirping him or something. So he grabs me by the wrists, and I'm frozen, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he goes, what the hell did you say to me? Are you serious, bro? You want to go? And I'm like, what's going on? And he wouldn't let go of my wrists. And then I started to get serious, and I was like, yo, let go of me right now, or like, this is a problem. Like, I don't know what you think is that. And then he starts, and this is one thing that you guys do. You fighters love to do this, where you'll just list all of your martial arts skills.
I never do that. That's
Dude,
crazy.
He starts going like, I know Muay Thai and I know Jiu-Jitsu.
No,
and
that's
I'm
usually
like,
someone
I know Excel. Get off.
No, usually people who can't fight do that because they want to scare you out of fighting.
That's so true, dude. They love like running the resume. And so I'm like, yo,
the last thing I'm going to do is
care.
tell you the things that you might be able to. Like, if I tell you I'm a wrestler, like I've been wrestling since I was 8.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you so you have a chance of sprawling.
Right.
You know?
Well, dude, here's the thing, because like, dude got his comeuppance, and it's not because like, I don't care, like, what you're telling me, you know, like, get off me, I'm a stranger, like, this is So his buddies rush over, and my buddies rush over. Difference being, his buddies think I started this and get there before my friends, so they're like, oh, we're gonna dogpile this guy. So his buddies are pushing him towards me, and my friends get there, and they're pulling me back, because they're trying to get me out of the fight, but they don't realize my hands are locked up. So he lets go, and my friends kind of have my arms behind me, because at this point I'm like, you know, whatever. Yeah. And so he punches me, gets me right in the face, and then immediately was like just turned on. I was like, because dude, especially when you grow up with brothers and you fight, you get hit in the nose. All of a sudden, you're like, like it's like you want to get caught once. So then my friends go, oh, here's what's happening. My 4 like bitch-made friends just immediately get scared, and then my one boy, shout out. Tough dude, immediately gets like shoulder to shoulder with me. So dude punches me and lets go of my other hand, and then just immediately I just started like throwing at him, and my buddy grabs him, gets behind him, grabs him, and then soft tosses him. Like, dude, and they were about the same size, probably just almost 6 foot. Tosses him, and now, for legal purposes, this next part didn't happen, but he swings, dude, and his face connects with the scaffolding, and it was like right on the, just the, you know, perpendicular cross of the thing with the, like, you know, the lug nut or whatever just poking out, and homie just clicks off of it, dude, hits the ground, and immediately covers his face, and I saw it and was like, he is not okay. Like, that's hospital, that's surgery, that's something just happened to him, dude. His face, like, exploded. Yeah. Granted, he punched me in the face. I'm in rage mode now because I only have like 2 settings. Yeah. So then some stuff happened to him. Yeah. A person ran up and just heel dropped him.
An innocent bystander?
An innocent bystander heel dropped him while he's covering his face. And then his 4 other buddies, who are now terrified, it was like in Wolverine Origins where Sabretooth and Wolverine are back to back. We literally were just back to back, just teeing off. One of my knuckles still clicks because I hit a guy in the back of the head. It dropped him, but it probably hurt my hand more than it hurt his head.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to break your hand in a fist fight.
It's so easy, dude. And so the next day, I had a show and an audition. I'm like, what, 19 to 20? And I had a black eye. We won the fight. When we left, everybody was on the ground except us. I'm like, oh, I won a fight, but also I have a black eye.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to audition for like some ABC sitcom. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then literally ever since then, somebody shoulder checks me, whatever. Sorry, have a good day. Like I just refuse to get into it ever again. It's not worth it.
It's also just like I don't want to risk going to like because if I get like I'm definitely not one of the people that go like I see red because I'm like I know to stay calm in those situations. But if I slam someone I remember slamming someone really hard on the concrete once and they went out and I went, oh, this is not worth going to prison over a street fight. That's crazy.
Well, because also you were that kid who, like, you babysat your neighbor and then you accidentally choked out at the kid. Like, didn't you kill, like, a 4-year-old girl?
Yeah, they used to call me Lenny. And, and I just kept on saying, the rabbit. Did I ever I told you the story about the... So I was a bouncer for a while, right? Did I ever tell you the story?
This story, I almost think this needs to be its own episode.
Yeah?
You need to do it as like a 3-hour epic.
Yeah? All right, then I won't do it.
You can if you want.
Okay.
I don't want to put the kibosh on that.
So, I will not say any names for legal reasons and for my own safety. So I used to work as a bouncer at a nightclub in New York. And there was, like, I'm not, like, what a lot of people don't know is, like, they have, like, the big guys at the door, but a lot of people who could actually, like, throw hands are, like, inside, you know, in case anything goes down. So there's this guy that I worked at, and he had a white dude, shaved head, and he was definitely a lunatic, like, has pulled guns on people and stuff like that. Like, he was nuts. And I didn't know anything about his backstory. Just know he moved from Tennessee to here.
Were you attracted to him?
So hot. And it does sound mysterious. And I remember one night, like, we've gotten plenty of fights there, and like, but like nothing really set off the alarms. I just knew that he was a white dude, shaved head. And one night, it's Halloween actually, and this girl is talking to me, and we start hitting it off, and I'm like, oh, she's like, I'm gonna leave, but she goes, take my number down. So I take her number down, and I call her this way. She has my number. And then probably like 2 hours later, I'm getting a phone call from her. So I just pick it up, and she's like, sounds really nervous. And she's like, I need you to come out. She's like, can you help me? She's like, I'm walking up the block. She goes, there's these 2 black guys, and they're following me, and they're saying shit to me, and I don't know what to do.
Cut that.
And I'm like, all right. So I go outside, and I go to get the guy. I'm not going to say his name. And I'm like, this girl needs help. And he goes, what's wrong? I'm like, she said there's these 2 black guys following her. And I watched his eyes light up, and he goes, did you say 2 black guys are following her? And I'm like, yeah. And we go outside, and she's walking towards us. And then she comes, like, right up to me, and they start talking shit to me. And then I start talking shit back, like, ready to fight. And, like, I'm ready to go. And then he takes his shirt off.
No.
And for reasons why you can't say this word, he had an iron cross on his chest, and he goes, see this? This means you're not welcome.
Yo.
And I was like, fuck, I'm going to fight you, but not fight for that reason. I'm like, I have nothing to do with that. That's crazy.
Like, look, I'm a feminist, but I'm not part of that group.
I didn't know. It was the most awkward I've ever felt, because I'm like, these guys are going to fight me, but now there's this weird backstory that I'm not a part of that.
That would have been amazing if she turned and she was like, no, you guys can fuck me. It's fine.
And the best part of it, I mean, we actually ended up fighting, and like the cops came. It was actually one of the craziest nights ever, because we were all fighting. Those kids' friends started showing up. So there was a bunch of us bouncers fighting them, and then cops got involved. Cops got laid out in the street. And the cops' backup came, started pepper spraying us. I didn't get hit directly with pepper spray, but I got really, it got close enough where my eyes were on fire. Damn. And I went back in the bar, and this girl that I've always thought was that bartender. She was at that school, because it was right near college, SUNY New Paltz. She was the head of the cheerleader sorority, and I start talking to her, and she goes, she goes, you can't drive home. And I'm like, I have to. And she goes, no, stay here. And I ended up, because that night, I ended up staying with her at the cheerleader sorority house for like a week. and it was the fucking best. It was so crazy how this whole night unfolded.
5 days in, you're like, I still can't see. Where is everything? What's going on? Is that your boob? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, because I was 22 years old. It was the fucking best. It was so fun.
Every night you're going out after that, you're like,
yeah, it was fun. But that other part, not fun. Not fun at all.
Yeah. Well,
was that the story you thought was coming?
No, it wasn't. I thought you were going to tell the other one.
I don't even know which one. Oh, that one. That was the reason why I stopped bouncing. That'll be another night.
That's another thing, because that's.
But yeah, when he had that on his chest, I went, should have saw that coming.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't hang out in the movie American History X.
Well, that was the best part about it all. So what happened was, I never saw that movie, and then I watched it, and I saw that that's the line from the movie. I'm like, this fucking racist hack.
He's not even an original racist. He just saw that, and he was like, oh, that's the cool way to do it. That's so wild. Yeah, what a dum-dum.
Do we have time for one more quick little topic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, I sent you one of them. There is an epidemic of girls who appear to have Down syndrome thirst trapping on Instagram. I think that's a good way to put it, right?
That's a good way to put it. It's definitely, I would say, like, go outside a little more. Would be my take on that.
Well, and it's them trying to get guys to sign up for their
Odd Future.
Yeah. And what blew my mind was how many guys in the comment section were saying stuff like they were so turned on by it, you know?
Oh.
Like one guy there was a funny comment. Like sometimes the comment's so funny. Some guy said, she might be down, but my dick is up.
Wild. You know what I thought you were going to say? I was going to try to predict the bar here. I thought you were going to say, if she's downs, I'm downs.
But what's crazy is it's a filter. And, like, it's a filter that girls are...
No, it's a filter.
Yeah, it's a Down syndrome filter. And it made me so angry because I'm like, why did I sign up for this? No, in all fairness,
There you go. I guess I'm the retard.
like $25, not well spent.
Dude, I mean,
no, but how
society's done.
How crazy is it to go, I'm going to fake Down syndrome for money?
I mean, it's so I got a hilarious story.
Did you fake Down syndrome for money?
No, but my older brother, when he was in like 3rd grade, there was I think the teacher went on maternity leave like a few months into the year. And so my older brother pretended that he had, I don't know if it was Down syndrome or some like type of severe, like encumbrance mentally. And the other kids in the class just like decided to go along with it. So for like 3 weeks, dude, my brother's just ripping the like, the thing, the whole bit. And eventually, and he's, by the way, he's still crushing school, right? And so the teacher says to him, and she goes,
this is a smart one.
She's like, he has arrived, the prodigy child. So she goes, I won't even say my brother's name for this. Let's call him Mark. She's like, Mark, do you know if like your parents gave you any paperwork, any forms for me to have about you or anything to maybe the nurse or something? And he's like, he says no, but he says it like the way. So she goes to like the office, like the principals or whatever, and it's like, hey, like I'm looking for some paperwork on Mark to see like just a little more about his situation. She's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, is he not like mentally? And they're like, what? No, what are you talking about? And so she goes back into class and is like, hey, is there something you want to tell me? And he's like, come on.
You know what would have been so funny if he did though? This would have been top notch.
Heisman?
No. If he would have just started talking normally and been like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And the whole class is like, what are you talking about? And it's just like Shutter Island situation where she's like, have I been retarded the whole time?
Dude, we gotta write a parody of Shutter Island. What would we call it?
I was gonna say Shutter Island. Shut up.
All right.
Speaking of faking, I got in an argument with someone the other day because one of my favorite people on TikTok is Balin with
Tourette's.
With Tourette's. She fucking rules.
She does
She
rule.
has her own TV show. My favorite actual Tourette that she does is when she goes, Joe Biden's buried in my backyard and there's cocaine everywhere. And my buddy the other day was like, she's definitely faking it. And I had to do like a whole deep dive on like what faking and like what it's about. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, it's probably the easiest faked, but like, why would you do that? Because it's like, for her to be faking it, that means everyone in her family would have to also be in on it. It's like the Earth being flat and all the boat captains have to also like pretend it's flat. Like her family, there would be someone from her school who would have been like, no, she didn't fucking do that. What are you talking about?
Right. And also, dude, it's such a shitty take to be like, she's faking person who, because it's not people with Tourette's saying that.
I bet you that same dude thinks every girl that's been with him has came.
100%, dude. Because here's the thing, you don't risk that. You're not willing to walk through the airport and go, I have a gun. You know what I mean? Like, for what?
Yeah.
For some TikTok fame?
Yeah,
for some
no fucking
TLC
way.
clout? Who
No way.
cares, dude? No, that's got to be one other thing that like reveals to me is just how like fascinatingly impulsive the human brain is, and also I think it reveals a lot about like irrational fear and thought that is good for people to observe and understand, because like when you have it really shows that a thought is not up to you, right? Because like we all have thoughts like that all the time, but we're not all, compulsively spouting them because we're not encumbered by that. We don't have to deal with that deficiency. But it really shows, like, I want people to like watch that, especially in like relationships, because it can show like, hey, what I was thinking, what I was feeling is not like a choice. I was, a thought just comes around the carousel. And
that's what I was thinking about. Like, could you imagine how much that would suck if like, because sometimes it's like the word is something that like they know that they shouldn't say, right? Could you imagine how much that would suck if it's like, because they get dopamine from saying it, and then they also get attacks if they don't say it. Like, can you imagine Balin just walking through Harlem and then just the worst thing pop into her head? And she just like, I gotta just say it.
Yeah. Well, there is a thing, right, where it's like if she doesn't say it, it's gonna, because I have OCD, and there's a component of it which is similar to Tourette's in that like scratching the itch of the compulsion is temporarily satiating. Like it actually lowers my anxiety to go, I'm just gonna snap 3 times or whatever it is, because that's gonna like, I've tricked my brain into the ritual of that. And for her, it's that same thing too, but it might be saying she wants to kill the president.
Yeah.
And so you got to be like, let her kill the president. Let her say she's got to kill the president. She's not going to do it. But like, and it sucks because what are you going to do? Is she going to wear a flag on her or that says like, I have Tourette's, I get to say whatever the fuck I want? No, you just got to like.
Not going to lie though, if you had it, would you ever like just say something just to get it off your chest and just be like,
literally constantly?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Again, if it wasn't a Tourette, just be like,
I would just be at the drive-thru like, can I get a Big Mac and a big old dick?
I think she's actually said that.
Yeah, because also, dude, thank the Lord I don't have Tourette's, because my regular brain is just going, I'm gay. Like, I just, in my mind, I'm just thinking silly, nonsensical stuff all the time. I'll be walking around just going like, double dick sandwich. I need a double dick sandwich. I just am thinking silly songs.
Yeah.
Because it makes me laugh. And if I had Tourette's, it would literally be a machine gun of just like,
fuck, this podcast would be so much more fun.
Yeah, maybe I should get it. Nah. All
All right. We got to wrap it up. Follow us on everything. I am at Not Nick Simmons and at Mr. Nick Callas. We just started the YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, we're about everywhere now. Share the clips, do all that stuff, and of course, come see us on tour. We're gonna be doing stand-up all over, like mostly West Coast.
We're gonna be with Bryan Callen.
Yeah, stay chat.
This is fun.